All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. I love Fridays. You know why? Friday is Ocala Magazine Radio Day. John Sotomayor hosts this great program. He's the executive editor of a great magazine called Ocala Magazine. What a coincidence. And he's here right now with some guests. Good morning, John. How you doing?
Great, Larry. Good morning.
Good to see you, as always.
And same here. And yeah, Fridays is my favorite day, too.
You are my tie inspiration man, by the way. I don't wear a tie, but every day I see you, I say, you know what? I should start wearing ties.
Oh, thanks. Well, you know, I got to make a statement, you know.
The only man in the room with a tie, right?
That's right. Anybody else here?
Well, we're going to start with the show. We're continuing our coverage of the Men of Influence for our June issue, and today we have 3 representatives who was also in that feature. The feature covered people who are doing extraordinary deeds that define a new standard for Ocala, Marion County, raising the bar and leading the way for our community so that it's a better place to live for everyone. So we'll get right to it. Let's meet our guests. First, I have Tom Ingram of Gateway Bank. He's the president.
Hey, thank you.
Morning, Tom.
CEO.
CEO.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. So next to him is Randy Kunches, developer and businessman and owner of a new restaurant, Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill. Good morning,
Thanks for
Randy.
having us this morning, John.
My pleasure. And next to him is Ron Zook, also of Gateway Bank. He's the new Community Relations and Business Development Officer. Morning.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Yes. Okay, we'll start with our questions. First, I want to turn to Randy. Randy, please share with us a little about your background, your occupation, family, and endeavors.
Well, thanks, John. I came to Ocala here in the early '90s with my kids looking for a place to practice motocross.
Oh, okay.
And they raced across the country in the amateur ranks for many years, and settled in Ocala and ended up making it home.
Excellent, excellent. And what about your job, the projects that you work on?
I come from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Green Bay's everywhere. Ask Ron.
Explain for our listeners what you're talking about. What do we have over here?
Well, since Ron and I have got to know each other quite well over the course of the last couple of years, and he finds Green Bay shows up everywhere. It's America's team as far as we're concerned. You know?
Excellent.
So when I seen the Green Bay coffee cup over there, that
in Larry's hand.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's what the chuckle is.
Excellent. We'll be talking more about your sports in a minute.
Sure.
But
just briefly, my background is I came from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I moved there in the late 70s with my wife, Sue, and we had all 3 of our children, Dustin, Angie, and Jared, all there in Green Bay, and grew up there. We started a small company basically out of the basement of our home, construction equipment company, and we developed that into a statewide operation and eventually sold it in the 90s and ended up making Ocala home.
Excellent. And your company has done a great deal for Ocala, improving it and making it better. Well, what are some of the things that you've worked on for the area here?
We've been involved with a number of different charities and our church that we've helped.
Okay, good. We'll talk more about charity work in a minute. Let's talk about your latest project. You are now working on Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill over at Lake Weir, and Tom's happy about that, being a resident.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
The lake has been longing for this. I've owned the property for about 7 or 8 years. It started out as I was just simply going to finance the project. At the end of the day, we ended up developing it, building it, I've got some great guys helping out, some investors that are helping out with the project, and we are so excited. Lake Weir's just dying and waiting for something like it. So we've got a 2-story, upstairs a little nicer dining, casual dining, but nicer. Shoes and shirts and all those things will be required. And a very nice Floresiana is what Gary Giberson, our general manager, has got coined, and what it is our chef Dave Del Rio his family comes from Spain, and they separated. Some of them went to the Tampa Ybor area, and some of them went to New Orleans. So and using his family's background, they've been in the restaurant industry. Dave comes with a tremendous resume, and he's excited to share that style of cooking, and I think everybody's looking very forward to it.
Absolutely, everyone is. Some more points about the restaurant. It's a 4,000 square foot restaurant with a 1,700 square foot horseshoe-shaped upper deck above the restaurant. It also has a boat dock and other amenities to the building.
Yes.
So, how did this whole project get started? What was the motivation behind it?
Well, owning it for so long, it was obviously it was an asset that we needed to do something with after our little crunch across the nation and things slowed down. And with many prayers and all of a sudden God just put it in front of us that we needed to take this and push forward. I met Gary Giberson. He's a CPA by trade, but a restaurant entrepreneur as well. And we hit it off, and we built this plan, and it's working out great. And the lake has embraced it. You know, Ron and Tom, they live out on the lake, and
That's right.
they're just two of the thousands of people that live and have homes near and on the lake that are so excited about what we're doing.
Excellent, wonderful. Let's talk to these two guys right now. We'll start with Tom. Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself, your occupation, family, and endeavors.
Okay, great, thank you. I was born in Gainesville, so explains my Gator background. I didn't spend much time there. My parents were in school, but grew up in the Jacksonville, Orange Park area. A lot of water influence there with the St. Johns River. Learned to ski there, which became my passion later in life, and or actually early and later in life. But we settled in Marion County about 17 years ago. Banking brought me here through Southwest Bank. Had an opportunity. It again gravitated towards Lake Weir, and it ended up out there, and we're still there. Have a beautiful family. I have a son who's 19 at UCF, a daughter who's 17, who will be a senior at Forest High School next year. My wife Debbie, who is the executive director at MCJ, the volleyball club here in town. So we're loving this Marion County life, and happy that we have the opportunities that we have here. And
Absolutely, and I can understand why, especially living off Lake Weir.
Yeah.
You have a very interesting background I wish you'd share with us about your early days before banking and how that led into banking. I'm talking specifically about water skiing.
Yes, the water influence led me to, number one, tournament ski, but also to ski professionally. I skied for SeaWorld for 6 years, and mainly in Orlando, but a couple of years in the Ohio Park there in Aurora, Ohio. It was a great influence on my life. Met a lot of lifelong friends. It also got me into banking. I had when I was working in Orlando, I had a pretty severe jump crash. Flew about 150 feet on the back of my head. So it actually knocked a little sense into me. I had a couple of weeks to think about it, and then ended up interviewing with a bank, and basically told them I'd work for free if they'd hire me as a teller, and they did. And the rest is history. That was 27 years ago. Gosh.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Quite a climb. You've done astounding work in the bank.
Yeah, it's been a great profession. I love it. I couldn't think of a better job other than maybe being a college football coach. But it's very fulfilling, and you're helping people, and I enjoy coming to work every day. I've got a great place to work with great people, and just makes it a lot of fun. And that's what life's all about. And to do it in Marion County, it makes it even better.
I love your story, Tom. One of my favorite photos I've seen of you, I want to share with the public here, is one of you water skiing with your suit on, holding a newspaper and a cup of coffee,
right.
holding onto a water ski on the lake. That's an awesome photo.
And I have a confession to make. Most people think that I'm barefoot water skiing, but I'm actually riding a trick ski, so you can't see it because of the spray, but so now the truth comes out on live radio.
It's still the coolest photo.
But yeah, it was fun.
Trick ski's even harder.
Yeah. Well, let's talk to Ron for a second. Ron, tell us about yourself, about your occupation, family, and friends.
Well, I came to Florida, obviously, in 1991, the first time in Gainesville. I was a defense coordinator for Coach Spurrier at the University of Florida. Was here for 5 years, and then took a little hiatus from college coaching, got into the NFL for a few years, and then came back to Gainesville as the head coach in 2002. But in the course of coming back the second time, got to know Tom. I love to water ski. Obviously, I'm not in the same league as him, but I love being on the water. My family loves being on the water. My daughters love being on the water, and so I had the opportunity to buy a lot. In fact, the day we bought the lot at on Lake Weir, Tom and I were kind of going around the state looking for a place that Denise and I could call home when we got out of the profession. So our relationship started there, and that's how I got to know Randy and his family. And through the church, we've even gotten closer and become part of the Eaton's Beach project. But so it's Marion County is an area. It's something it's kind of a I've had the opportunity to live a lot of places, but Marion County and Ocala is a town that everybody knows everybody, which I think is a positive. I think the people try to, they try to help people in Marion County,
Right.
and that's the one thing about with Randy and with Tom that's, been, just it kind of puts a place in your heart because they're about people, they're about this county, they're about making it better, and I think all you have to do is look at the number of young people, the people that graduate from college that kind of come back to Ocala, and that tells you just how neat of a community in an area that it is, and so I've had the opportunity. I'm out of coaching now for the last year and a half, and Tom and I talk a lot about just having something to do and doing something that you like to do and being part of it, and so he gave me an opportunity to become part of the bank, and there's a lot of similarities in banking, but it still comes down to people, and that's why when you walk into Gateway Bank, it's always about people. It's it's a different feeling. So trying to see what it's like.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ron, for sharing that. You actually hit to the heart of why we created this Men of Influence feature to begin with, and it's to showcase the people in town who are doing outstanding things for the community, making a better place to live. Gateway Bank is a perfect example of it, and that's why we added you to our feature. You support more than 75 charities. Tom, let me ask you, what are some of the things that Gateway Bank has done for them?
Yeah, that's a great question because that's what we're all about. We're a community bank. We do it because we believe in Ocala, and it's the right thing to do. And I was going through the list of organizations. 75 probably is a pretty good number, but we do support a lot of people out there, a lot of organizations out there. And one of the things that we tried to do when we started was build a facility that could make an influence on those organizations and provide a venue that we could have events. And we've done, probably 30, 40 events. And when we do an event, typically it's an art show, for example. We'll name a charity. And over the years, we've been there now 6 years, we've raised almost $200,000 for various charities doing these events. We also provide the bank as a venue for organizations to meet. So if the chamber or CEP wanted to meet, which they have, they'll use our facility, one of our meeting rooms. We have about 4 meeting rooms within the bank. We've opened it up to any of our customers who want to have special meetings off-site, which they've taken advantage of. We have all the audio-visual capabilities, video conferencing, and you can set up PowerPoint in there with a nice sound system. And so we just try to be accessible, and we feel like the more people we get into our facility, the more opportunities we have as a bank to convince them to come over to Gateway, because they'll get a chance to meet our people, see our style of banking, and hopefully come back.
Right.
So it's a great kind of win-win strategy, and so far it's worked very well.
Excellent. And I know you personally are involved in many projects, including the Friends of Marion, the theater.
Right, formerly known as Save the Marion Theater,
Right.
which we don't like to call it that anymore, but it's technically I don't think it's fully saved. There's still have a lot of work to do, but we feel like we've made great strides, and Janie Pope taking over the lead there as the Central Business Central Business District Program Manager. We might have to use an acronym for that.
Yeah.
She has brought new life, and she's phenomenal, and really I've seen the spark there, and based on the last few events we've had, it's been just amazing, and we feel like the community is embracing it like they did from the beginning, and the key thing is continuing to embrace it.
Absolutely. I remember back 3 years ago when we had the Pirates of the Caribbean theme with the whole ship come down through.
It brings
South Magnolia.
makes hair stand up on the back of my neck.
Yeah, that was probably the most fun thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah, we had the pirate ship from Gasparilla, I guess. It was based out of Clearwater, and had all the Gasparilla pirates there. I think they might have been into the cup a little bit before they started, but they were shooting their guns, and they were pirates. What can you do? But it was incredible, and that just really kicked things off. Buddy Martin was the guy that was the instigator of all that and got us all rallied up, and Gerald Orgel, big part of that. And
it definitely increased the spirit of downtown. Since then, we've had the Field Downtown campaign. We've had a lot of new businesses start up down there. It has a new spirit, I would say, wouldn't you, Larry? About a lifestyle. People look forward to coming there and experiencing. I would even say culture. You know, it's a cultural experience.
Yeah, the Field campaign was great. That was Tito Comas and Brendan Martin came up with that, and that, I mean, it's like Ron talks about the feeling in the bank. Yeah, you get that feeling when you're downtown, and it's very special, and you can't describe it. You can only experience it, you know, and they've done a great job of spreading that,
right?
You know, and it's really cool.
And lately, they've had the Great Gatsby project, where everyone dressed up in 1920s garb, and even more recent zombies.
I wasn't a part of that, but I saw a lot of pictures that looked like it was
lots of fun.
Zombies scare me. I didn't want to get around any of that.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing all of that. I want to focus now back to Ron. Ron, I want to ask you, with your stellar background, I want to focus on some of the highlights. You were the head football coach at UF 2002 to 2004, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and you also worked as assistant coach in the National Football League with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs, and New Orleans Saints. What are you going to do toward bringing your team management skills towards Gateway Bank as a new community relations business development officer?
That's a great question.
I'm still in the process of learning that, but I think the way this conversation about the job even got started was, you know, it's a lot like recruiting. You know, in recruiting, you know, there's a lot of schools that sell the same thing. Well, there's a lot of banks that sell the same thing. So what makes Gateway, or what makes our bank different than another bank? And it's people. You know, people make a place. As I mentioned earlier, you walk into the bank and there's just a different feeling. And you know, I know from when we moved all of our personal banking to the bank. You know, my wife commented on how easy it was because you know, there's just a few steps that you take. It's, you know, a lot of the normal person like me begins to think, gosh, moving all your banking needs and personal needs and so forth. It's you know, there's so much to do. You're gonna, you know, because if you don't know exactly what has to be done, then you know, you don't know if it's all done. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but you know, so they make it easy, and once again, you don't really. It's like anything else, a doctor or anything else. You don't really need the bank until you need the bank, and so you know, I think that's the thing when you have a personal relationship, you have a feeling, and I think once again it goes back to the people that I've been fortunate enough to be part of meeting in Marion County. You know, everybody cares about this county. They care about the people. They care about all the things that goes on, and that's why I think, you know, Tom and Randy and I, we've all kind of hit it off because it's all we all have a similar feeling for the county, a similar feeling for people, and you want to make it the best you possibly can.
Absolutely. It is all about the people. I want to thank the three of you for sharing your stories. One of the things that we focused on before was the women of influence before the men. Now we're focusing on the men. Our next issue in July is going to be about 40 under 40, and that's the young professionals that's coming up. Randy, your son Dustin was on the list a couple of years ago himself. Yeah, outstanding young man. With it. Good.
Great kid.
And you're going to be amazed with the current crop of people that we have there. It's a phenomenal group. What is the kind, for all three of you men, what are the kind of advice you would give other young men and women starting their careers in business and community work? What lessons would you pass on to others to achieve success? We'll start with, who wants to start? Ron?
I'll start. I think the number one thing is you have to have a passion about what you're doing. And once again, I keep bringing up Tom and Randy, but you know, they have a passion for what they're doing, and you know, obviously, you know, there's going to be tough times. You know, there's going to be times that there's going to be bumps in the road, but you know, you keep your eye on the bullseye, and you have to, you know, you have to work hard and persevere. But if you have a passion about what you're doing, then I really believe that you make it, you raise the percentage of chances of being successful.
Excellent. Tom?
Yeah, just to add to that, I would say taking some risk. I mean, get out of your comfort zone, whether it be public speaking or what have you. Just, you know, put yourself in a situation where you step out of that comfort zone and it'll just make you a better person. I mean, when I first got into banking, I was scared to death to get up in front of a group and say anything. In fact, I was afraid to answer the phone, you know, the first day I came into the bank. And I found out if I was going to progress in any line of work, that was one skill that I needed. I needed to, and you know, I'm not great at it by any means now, but certainly that was one area that I had to step out of my comfort zone. I was very shy, and I would encourage any young people coming up. I mean, basically what you need to do to be successful. Make it your passion, go after it, and step out of your comfort zone to get there.
Absolutely. I also had to step out of my shyness. They put me in lead of a magazine on a radio show. Randy, how about you?
Well, I would say stay true. Stay true to the people that are closest to you. Stay true to your passion. Stay focused on the goal, and don't forget really what the goal is, and work real hard. Don't be afraid to put effort in.
Tom, you have more?
Yeah, I just wanted to add the other thing, which is important, and it gets back to people again. Surround yourself with good people, great people, because they're going to elevate you up. And it's like even with your friends, like with Randy and Ron. I mean, they're great people. They make me better because of what they do, and I think that's important, especially when you're younger, to get with the right people and to make good decisions and just make yourself better every day.
Absolutely. It is about teamwork. We all have to help each other move up. No person works as an island alone, really. In the last few minutes, I want to focus on some other questions aside. Ron, I'm going to start with you. One of the questions that came up in our 40 under 40 for the young people is what this town needs, and a lot of them said sports team and sports facilities. What are your thoughts about our sports system in town and what we can do to add to make it better?
Well, I think everybody always wants to make their sports program better. I think you look the way the state of Florida in general is perceived with athletics, and particularly in football, because that's where Florida is the number 2 state in the country for producing BCS football players, so to speak. But still, I think the coaching here is good. I think the high schools are good. I think that the support of the people is good. And what can you do? I think everybody always wants more, but I really believe that Ocala has a great name. Marion County has a great name. All the high schools have done a great job with their athletics. Everybody wants better facilities. Unless you go to the state of Texas, you're going to find people always wanting the same things. But I think the biggest way to tell what Marion County is doing is you look at the number of people, and I mentioned this earlier, the number of people who come back to live. And sure, they always, they want more to do, they want more things going on, but I think if you look at the number of people who come back to this county to live, that right there is proofs in the pudding.
Absolutely. This question is for Tom. Another issue that came up for the young people is that they want a vibrant community in which to live in. A lot of focus has been on the downtown area, and there's a lot of interesting ideas about it, including perhaps building a hotel or some kind of an entertainment venue down there. How do you feel about downtown progress, and what could we do to contribute to it?
Well, I think we're moving in the right direction for sure, and there's a lot on the table. A lot of people, good people stepping up, that are going to take some risks to make, for instance, the hotel with, Albert Peak and Sandy McBride and Kurt Boone and Bryce Peak. Those type of things, I think, are critical in helping us get to the next level. They're very, very tough decisions for those guys to make as investors, and I think we need to work as a community with the city and county or whatever sources we have to help these guys do these type of projects, because downtown has got incredible momentum right now, and I would hate to see that stall.
Right.
And I just think we're moving in the right direction. Bryce Peak now is the president of DBA, and we have
Business Alliance.
Great leadership there, and we just need to keep the ball rolling. And we've got great leadership with Matt Brower. Kent Gwynn's our mayor. There's just so many positive things that we just need to continue to embrace and move forward and just not lose sight of the prize there, and everything's, I think, moving in the right direction. Look what's going on there now with they're renovating the square and all kinds of positive things, and it's we just need to keep it going.
Absolutely, and it's great to have a focal point for Marion County, which is Ocala in the downtown area, but also everybody needs improvements in other areas, and that's why I like what Randy's doing in the Lake Weir area. In our June issue, we also focus on entire feature on Lake Weir and found very fascinating things about the area, particularly historically, and how it progressed then and how it's progressing now. And I guess this is for all three of you. Lake Weir, lots of action and excitement going on there. what can we do to enhance Lake Weir, and what would be the next area in Marion County that you would suggest be developed or somehow, worked on?
First of all, with Lake Weir, everybody needs to do a rain dance so we can get the water back up. But, yeah, we need water. That's the first thing. And I think that's coming. We've seen rain pretty much every afternoon. But there's a lot of positive. Eaton's Beach is a very positive thing out there. Of course, Gator Joe's is there. The county is very invested out there as far as the park, and they're doing the right things. We've got a great group now of primary residents that are out there, as well as the second homeowners from Ocala that come out quite a bit. And I mean, a lot of people haven't been out there, and I would encourage folks that haven't been to Lake Weir to come out and visit. And there's a lot of great things going on out there. Last weekend we just had the state wake surf championships
Nice.
right out on the lake, and it's the second year that we've hosted that. With Eaton's Beach coming online, there's going to be a lot of events surrounding that, so there'll be a lot of reasons that people will come out to the lake in the
Excellent.
future. I mean, and we're trying to keep that, building on that.
With the last 30 seconds, if each of you would just take 10 seconds and say what area you think in Marion County you would want to see next being targeted as a... How about you, Randy?
Well, I'd have to stay with more focus on the lake area, but Kearney Island, there's been some real good improvements there, and there's many more to come. More eco-friendly improvements are slated for Kearney Island, so people can come down and enjoy the lake and the park there. It's a gorgeous piece of property that our county did a great job of investing in, so I'd love to see more activity there.
Thank you. And you, Ron?
Well, I'm new to living here. But I can't say enough about how much my wife and I love being here, love the people, and love being part of the community.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom.
Mine would be obviously Silver Springs, and
Yes.
it's getting attention, and I just would continue to give it attention and do the right thing there. That is one of our major assets, and I think we're taking the right steps, and it's going to be exciting in the future watching the progress there.
I have to agree. Well, that's our time, so thank you all to my guests for being here today and sharing your stories. Thank you, Larry and Robin, for helping us.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.